Hello, and welcome back to Dymin in the Rough with Lance Lynn sometimes. Lance is here today.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we have a very interesting episode planned for today. Yeah, got a lot of updates for you guys. I don't know, let's just jump right on into it. Lance, would you like to start? Give us a little update.
Baseball season is upon us. And I'm right here on the couch. And that is where I'm going to stay. So there's the update. I am officially retiring from baseball right here, right now. But, there might be a little something fun around the corner upcoming weekend. Yeah. So stay tuned. But for Major League Baseball, I am done pitching.
All right. Well, walk us through your mindset. How did you come to this conclusion?
Well, there's a couple different things. You start looking around like free agency. Obviously, there was some interest from the teams here and there. Money didn't work out. Now you're looking at the season started. I've really enjoyed not being there. That's kind of weird to say. I'm always going to miss the, teammates competing, stuff like that. But I've not missed being there every day and like being gone from home and stuff like that. So thinking about staying prepared, because I probably could have stayed prepared. Like we talked about it, right? It's like stay prepared and then in June do a showcase and then play for 3 months, but that's not the point, right? Yeah. And then it's like, and then next thing you know, you're comfortable being home and then you're missing stuff here and then you're not really enjoying it. So the way that I went out last year was a big thing too. I am going to finish my last play as a Cardinal in Busch Stadium on a win. Everybody
really
was
good
there.
Season.
Yeah, everybody was
poetic.
There. Yeah, it was. And we had everybody there. We didn't know.
Your
but
family.
We kind of knew.
Yeah,
it's like we made it a thing that day. So I don't think there's any reason to try to keep going and have it end differently or have the last one be different than that either. So it's like retiring a Cardinal, last major league game in Busch Stadium with the whole family there. Let's call it. You
want to talk about your last season? Because you made some milestones.
Yeah. And then hitting, I think we hit most of the ones we were looking at.
Yeah.
I mean, we had the countdown. So you get 2,000 strikeouts, 2,000 innings. And then I hit some Cardinals milestones that I didn't really, because I didn't really know I was going to hit them. Those were kind of a
gone
pleasant,
for like 7 years.
Yeah, those were a pleasant surprise. I think the only one that like I had that I was thinking about trying to hit last year, and that still was still close. And I think that's probably why I was still fighting the wanting to play this year and all that stuff was I needed 7 more wins for 150 career wins. But the way I see it is, I'm at 99 losses, so I don't want to hit 100.
That's true.
So, yeah, I think we're good.
I knew when you bought a boat, it was over.
Yeah, bought a fishing boat
last week.
Last week, I bought we bought a skid steer tractor, so I'm gonna start doing my farmer thing too. Yeah. So I got all the toys to retire, so you might as well stay home and use them. I think that's another reason.
Yeah, and if you went back like in the middle of the season, that's not the way you want to go out either. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to play like 3 months and be like, okay, see you later. You know what I mean? Yeah,
and I think the reason why you play sports is for me is like the teammates and the camaraderie and like the story of the season. Mm-hmm. So you're missing all that. Yeah. I've already missed spring training. That's 2 months of like getting to know your teammates, like starting that journey of what a season will be. And those every year has a different story for every team I've been on. Yeah. And I've already missed like the start of the story. So why?
It would be like getting traded, because it's always really awkward when you first get traded and you're on a brand new team and there's like whole new dynamics. And then you have your team leaders that have already been running shit.
Yeah. And
so to step into that and try and find your place, it takes a while. So,
it's awkward, but obviously I've done it a few times. So
I know that, but
yeah, that is an awkward. You try to find like every team every year has
you find your groove like right when it's over. I feel
at least for true, because you feel like you're the new kid in school. Whoa. We got a
Did
kid.
you hear that?
We got a kid's toy with no kids here. That's always creepy. See you later.
That was,
Oh man.
okay. Anyways.
But yes, you always you feel like you're just getting to know someone and the school year's over type thing. If like, you come in the middle of the school year when you have to transfer in high school.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
No.
Never had to do it, but I've seen people do it. They didn't thrive. So, but yeah. So all in all.
Another funny thing, just because we're making it lighthearted. Okay. Oh. Did we not have any idea that it was like opening day?
It was kind of funny. People were like, hey, you're going to opening weekend. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy how fast it goes by when you're like not involved with it.
Yeah.
Because on Instagram, I always see everybody on like last week of spring training. And I was like, how's this the last week already? That's crazy. We've been in soccer and school and all that stuff.
Yeah. When you're in spring training, it's like the longest 2 months of your life. It feels like. Truly. It's like, man, it's Groundhog Day over and over. Yeah. And then the season comes and it feels like that's when things get hectic and quick. So, yeah, it was crazy when we were like, oh, look, hey, spring training's over. I was like, oh, perfect. Mm-hmm. And I didn't miss it. Didn't actually miss not being there. Yeah. I felt when it started, I felt like I was late to something. Like I was like, I don't know what I'm saying. Like, oh, because you're just so used to that's when you're gone or already gone. And then once I got like over the feeling of like I don't know, like, oh, I have something to do, but you don't have anything to do. Yeah. Once I got over that, I was like, I'm kind of over it. Yeah. Understandable. And I was fighting that, as you saw quite a bit.
You've had a little.
It's like, hey, I'm going to go play catch. I'm going to go throw live BP. I was selling live BP to college kids, and I was having fun doing it. But after I was done with it, I was like, I don't really care to. Oh my God. You know, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of cool. I'm good. Yeah. It was weird. And then we went on spring break, and I was like, yeah, cool. Yeah. Done.
It was just hard for you to actually come out and say like, hey, I'm retiring.
Yeah.
He just kept saying, I'm over it. I'm not retired. I'm just over it.
Didn't want to use the word retired.
Yeah. But you've had an epiphany.
Yeah. I think for me, it was getting it saying.
Kind of holding you back, not saying it in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Because at no point did I say, hey, I'm playing no matter what. Yeah. That never came out of my mouth.
It came to a point where it's like, I have to make a decision to play and make that happen, or make a decision to retire and then move on.
Yeah.
For mental clarity.
Yes. And then the decision was, okay, do you go deal with being gone? I don't know what's going on in there. There's someone in there playing with toys, but no kids are here.
I hate shit like that so bad. Yep. I'm going to go throw it in the front yard.
I don't know which one that one is.
I don't know either. That's never happened. Mm-hmm. It hasn't happened all morning. Okay, anyways. I don't even think anyone can hear what's happening. Yeah, there's a toy going off for no reason back there, and it's
zero
scary.
Kids here.
What were you saying?
Mental clarity.
This is an important moment.
Mental clarity of saying it that you're retired. Because I think I was in between because I didn't want to say it, but I also had no desire to leave home, go be physically miserable all year, because
baseball's hard on the body.
It's beat me up a little bit. Yeah. And that I can still do it, but I don't.
That's a big one.
He can
still do it if he wants to. He's choosing not to. He doesn't want to.
Yeah. I just don't. I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt anymore, I guess. I think last year was tough. Do you want to
shed some light on that and kind of be honest about hey, I've been in pain for the past 4 years and I've just been showing up and doing it?
It went in waves in my career, as you saw. So I had, I had Tommy John at one point. Mm-hmm. So I dealt with elbow issues. I've always kind of dealt with hip, back, and knee stuff. Mm-hmm. Every year had a different ailment. Mm-hmm. You would go into the off season, you would, all right, I need to work out this way to protect my knee or my hip or my back or my shoulder.
Strengthen other areas and all that stuff. Yeah.
It was crazy.
Then your knee surgery.
So I had 2 hamstring tendons removed, and then my knee is kind of holding on by a thread. And then, wear and tear on the shoulder and elbow and back and all that from years of pitching and playing sports. So now it's heal up and chase kids around and, play just enough catch over the years. So when Judge is ready to step in the box, I still got a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like when he's 12 and if I can still throw 80, I could probably throw it by him,
Oh my God.
But like that'll probably be the end of, that's it.
The future's looking interesting for us. You're not going to believe this.
Uh-oh.
This is totally a coincidence. I did not know that he was going to do this today. Like he literally said this last night.
I dropped on her last night.
Dropped it. Yeah. Last night.
I was like, hey, I'm going to do it. And she's like, you're lying.
I don't even know why you did that. What?
I think
what
I've been,
last night?
because we were talking the other day, we were talking about, hey, I'm not signing in like anytime soon. The thought was, hey, let's wait out till June. Like just keep doing stuff, kind of get ready for June, do a showcase and then see what teams are in it. Because if you're going to play at the end, you want to be in the playoffs. Yeah. So it was like, all right, don't sign anywhere now because you don't even know. Like June's kind of the idea when teams know if they're any good or not.
Yeah.
So it was like, all right, let's kind of cherry pick
a
team at the end. And it was like, do I really want to do that?
What if they call you? Are you going to go?
If they call me, you want to go?
You'd be like,
I am at the moment. I'm not picking up a ball. This is my last week throwing. We got something around the corner coming up this weekend.
We can't talk about it, but
I can.
It's soon.
So when this comes out, it would already happen.
When is this coming out? Tomorrow?
So
it can come out tomorrow, so we can't talk about it.
It's not. So people are going to start putting some things together.
Yeah.
We'll see where it goes. But yes.
Okay. Back to what I was saying.
It will have not happened yet when this comes out then.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can't say it.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll talk about it next week.
Anyways, what I was talking about before we got out of
rambled.
Yes.
Yep.
I planned a whole episode around male athletes' mental health.
Thanks for the heads up. See, that's what she does to me. She
me.
doesn't tell me anything that she writes on these cards before we do this.
I know. I worked so hard on it yesterday, glued them upside down because I was just so passionate about the topic at hand. I have statistics in this bitch. Like, I'm like, we're going to talk.
I love numbers.
I love mental health. So I really do. Okay. I was talking about this earlier. I had my birth chart read. So they were talking about like authenticity and, what really like gets me going. And then I kind of made like a weird drive-by comment in like a couple episodes ago about how I was diagnosed with ADHD.
Yeah.
And I got so many comments from that of being like, oh my gosh, more people need to talk about like women who are late diagnosed because it's absolutely miserable and no one knows about it and all that stuff. So I was like,
Is that a big thing?
Yes.
A lot of late diagnosed.
Okay. Remember when I told you about this? Remember how he's a symptom stealer?
Whoa.
I was telling him when I finally like came to the conclusion that I thought I had ADHD, he's like, man, I think I might have it too. Yeah. Can I take one of them pills?
I did not say that.
Yes, you did. You're like, I might need one.
I might need to go to a doctor.
Oh my God. Anyways, that is kind of what inspired me to be like, man, you're right. And because I love talking about this stuff anyways, and because I have a resident professional athlete, I thought you go through a lot of mental hula hoops as well.
Yes.
And you're a man and
we're so good at processing those things.
You're not taught to process those things, really.
Men aren't?
No, you're kind of taught to ignore them.
You're taught to bury them deep down inside.
Exactly.
Then put them in a compartment and never talk about it again.
I know. I've known you 7 years and you're like, it's kind of astounding that you would even come
say that
on here and say that you're retiring and talk about your feelings because years ago that would not be the case.
Yeah.
You could be inspiring for other men is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Through these questions.
I can't wait. I'm here to inspire.
Well, I'm so glad. Okay. I kind of got off topic. Should I talk more about ADHD? I did not take my pill today, so
that's why we get off topic a little bit.
We've had 7 micro conversations in between.
Right. Well, that's going to happen though, because the beginning was kind of surprise to you.
It was a surprise to me. I am going to talk about it though. I might change the whole vibe of this room though, because it's going to get weird. Uh-oh. I have to tell the whole story and how I got to why I'm here right now.
Let's hear it.
Okay. It all goes back to my childhood. No, you're just going to have to sit there silent for a second, I feel. Or I can tell you the story.
Well, I mean, I kind of know it. I live with you.
You don't know how I pieced all of it together.
A little bit. I can't wait to hear though. I'm right here. All ears.
Okay. This feels awkward to do in front of a crowd. And I told you it might change the vibe, but we're going to do it.
Do that thing where you see everyone in the audience naked. So you're not nervous.
That just made it even more weird.
Or they're not there. Sorry.
All right, quit talking. Anyways, how this whole ADHD thing came about. I had a third kid and I was already like a type B person. I didn't have a very good memory. Had problems, which should have been obvious, but like processing information, like reading directions to how to put together a toy would like make me go into a spiral. Okay. It really stressed me out. And that is essentially ADHD, is like the processing part in your brain. I always say that like my lobes get twisted. But when I had a third kid is when I was really like, I am not well. I can't remember anything. I cannot complete a task. You've got me moving here, there, and everywhere. And it was just like, I couldn't put a thought together. I was feeling brain fog. I was feeling exhausted. I couldn't do dishes. I couldn't do laundry. I couldn't do anything. Like it became a problem. Okay. And your sister was living with us at the time and she had it and she was like, girl, I think you got ADHD. And I was like, hey, you're probably right. Well, my phone heard that because it listens all the time. And there were things that were popping up that were like, did you know that ADHD in women looks so different than in men and da 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 da. So I started like researching that and I was like, oh my God, that's insane, right? Because in men, it's like hyperactivity, right? Like you always see those little kids that are like going absolutely berserk and can't sit down and, can't do their ABCs and all that stuff. It's not like that for girls. So girls in childhood are often not diagnosed until like they're 30 or 40 years old. Me. Okay. Why are you looking at me like that? However, mine goes way deeper. In little girls, it's like the symptoms are daydreaming, not being able to focus. Like basically you're just kind of like dozing off in school. You know what I'm saying? So no one looks at that like a behavioral issue. They just look at it like you're a dumbass, pay attention. Do you know what I mean? So I will say that was me in retrospect. Like, oh, and anxiety, which I have joked for years that I popped out of the womb like a very anxious individual. But what people do not know is that throughout, like since second grade, I've had trichotillomania. So if you don't know what that is, do you know what that is? Yeah. Is this making you uncomfortable? You look uncomfortable.
Just listening.
So they called it back then like an OCD thing. So technically back in the day, I was diagnosed with like OCD and that would cause trichotillomania, which is when you literally pull the hair out of your head. So that was like my coping mechanism. So I realized like it was an instant dopamine release. And all this time, it always happened at school. So now if we're putting all the pieces together, I can't focus in school. I'm getting very overstimulated by the information that is given to me. So my response to that would be to pull my hair out and try and like calm myself down. So this happened to me from literally second grade till I was like 9 years old. And I was prescribed like a low dose of fluoxetine, which is essentially Prozac. So I was literally on an antidepressant when I was like 6 years old. Okay. So if you can see why I'm so frustrated now as like a 31-year-old adult that has had some just weird shit happen that not a lot of kids go through, why I'm like passionate about it now is because I might not have known that the symptoms were different had this girl on TikTok not talked about that. So now our cat's back.
Perfect.
We thought she died.
Lock
Sorry.
it
I'm just stupid. So yeah, had that person not gone out there and said, hey, this is like the symptoms, blah, 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 then that wouldn't have found me. So now I'm taking it as my duty to be like, hey. And because those women reached out to me and they were like, it's absolutely miserable. Like I struggled so much as a child. I wasn't diagnosed. And even when I went to the doctor and I had written in my notes on my chart, like, I think I have ADHD. Like, can we discuss this? And the nurse, when I was sitting in there, she was like, are you feeling jittery? And I was like, nobody understands ADHD in women and how it can spiral into other things. And so obviously my trichotillomania and anxiety ultimately transpired into depression into certain times in my life. And now I just kind of wonder, like, if my lobes were not twisted all those years ago, like, do you know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah. So I find that very important. So, ladies, if this resonates with you, talk to your doctor. They might be stupid, but we'll get there. It's kind of embarrassing, and I'm not specifically talking about my doctor, but just like women's problems in general. Like, these doctors are like, you're so dramatic. That's why these 1950s housewives were on Quaaludes all the time, is because no one was taking them seriously. You know what I mean? They're like, you're home all day long. Yeah. Your job's to take care of the children. I don't know why you have these problems. It's like, let's take all these pills. You know what I'm saying?
I do not.
Okay. Well, let's talk about men though. Yeah. We're going to play a little game with you. Mm. Okay.
Yeah. I'm ready.
About your mental health. I'm going to give you some scenarios and then you can tell me
this could be interesting
how you respond to them. And I'll tell you if it's a healthy response.
Okay.
All right. Okay. You just lost the biggest game in your career. How are you reacting to that?
How would I react to that?
Yeah.
I would be pretty pissed off.
Yes.
Probably break something. Depends. Yeah, throw some stuff. Trash can go down.
In the dugout?
Everywhere.
Has anybody seen that video of Lance breaking an iPad in the dugout?
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and say that's not on the healthy response.
Probably not.
No.
But
just about joked. You're supposed to process the loss, talk to someone, and focus on what's in your control.
No one wants to talk about being a loser.
See, this is why this is so important to have this conversation. All right, your friend opens up to you about struggling with anxiety.
Appreciate you letting me know that.
You look
I can be here to help. That would be great. Or let me know if I could be here to help.
That is the correct response.
I know what to say, but I'd be like, get over it.
See? I don't think you would do that.
I probably wouldn't say that. No.
You're actually a very nice guy.
Yeah. Depends on how close of a friend it is. Or if it's like
I don't feel like that's right.
No,
okay.
That's not true. I would help.
You're feeling overwhelmed, but you don't want to seem weak.
Yeah. Don't ever talk about it.
Oh my gosh. See how stupid men are?
Yeah. It depends, I guess. If you're overwhelmed, I think it depends. If it's overwhelmed with something you feel like you should know or you should be able to do, you will not say it. But if it's something you know nothing about, or like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on in there. I don't know
either. It's really killing the vibes.
I would say you would ask if you don't know anything about this subject or this or that. So it just depends. If you think you should know it, men are.
Well, maybe if you're feeling overwhelmed at work,
right? It's like, I'm not asking for direction. Nowadays you don't have to because it's on your phone. But back in the day, like,
well, say you're like overwhelmed with work or with parenthood or something like that, and you don't feel like you can complain about it.
Yeah.
Do you not have a designated person that you're like, I can tell this person that I'm overwhelmed?
No. You?
Hello?
Well, I mean, besides God. You, that's obvious.
This episode is not going well.
That was obvious. You have like 6 people.
I have like
4.
2.5.
No offense, because I know I'm the half.
No, I would say you're one of the whole ones.
Oh, that's good. I have 1, technically.
You get injured and can't play for months.
Been there, done that.
Okay, but how are you mentally dealing with that? I'm going to tell you, you weren't doing that very well.
I didn't do that well.
He had knee surgery, got back, and an hour later was trying to put up a TV. Because he was like, I can't not be a man.
That's not how I said it. I was, well, we need to get the TV up.
And you did it on one leg.
I got it up.
I don't even think your anesthesia had worn off all the way.
You have 2 legs for a reason.
Oh my God. See, this is what.
1 good one and 2 good arms.
I'm going to ask you some deep questions here in just a second. And we're going to heal you on this. We're going to learn a lot. This one's a good one. I think this one's important. You're a rookie trying to prove yourself, but you're struggling. What do you do?
Well, I had these moments.
Yes.
So this is I feel like this is an easy one.
Well, let's say how you dealt with it, and then maybe
what I would do differently
back,
now.
what you should have done.
So I had a couple guys that were veterans that were really good for me in certain situations. So I had 4 guys through my career that at different stages, like that helped me through. And the like rookie ones were Jake Westbrook and Kyle Loesch and Chris Carpenter. Like those, I had all 3 of those together, and I had Wainwright too. So that but at that time, Westbrook and Loesch were older than Wainwright. So it was like and I was a rookie. So it was like you know how you've seen that, like there's a pecking order when it comes down to this. And then with my personality, like firing stuff, Chris Carpenter and I kind of naturally did that. And then Westbrook helped me in a different way, and Loesch helped me in a different way. And then Wainwright helped me in a different way. So they were all there my rookie year. Yeah. So it was, they helped me. I was like, hey, I'm going through this. It's like I had 2 different type of rookie years too, because my true rookie season, I was a reliever, I was hurt a little bit and all that. So, but the next year I was starting for the first whole year, and you know, the ups and downs of good start, bad start. I made the all-star team, and then a month later I was sent to the bullpen. That pissed me off, but I was able to like really talk to those guys and being like, hey, here's the process. And at that time too, you're processing like making money for the first time, like legit money for the first time, and people asking for things and trying. So there's a lot of things that you had to process. And if I were to not have those guys, it would have been an absolute disaster. Yeah. And to go back, and what would I do now is I would have leaned on them even more, like in different ways. Yeah. But over my career, and this is what I told young guys and the teammates that I've had the older I got, because I was able to take a little bit from all of them. And then I had John Lackey too, a couple years later. And yeah, he helped me in a different way. So I was able to take bits and pieces from each guy. So, and then help myself process things, get through things, good, bad, even like good ways, like things that were going well, process them so I can even be better, instead of like, oh, that's good, I don't need to worry about it. So it was like a weird, good and bad, to help me process things. And I was able to use their insight to make my own things, but also using their insights because they did it different and had different, all 4 of them did it different ways and all that. And then helping younger kids, because each young kid needs to find their way, and you can't tell them what to do, because then it feels like you're dadding them, I guess, is, you know, and we're like,
you hate that.
I hated that. So, I struggle.
You don't want to be told what to do. You want to be guided.
Yeah. Give me and that's what I've learned over the course for me personally. And then talking to other guys is, hey, give them some ideas. Yeah. Multiple ideas. Mm-hmm. And then have them navigate their own path through it, because they need to have that ability to have their own path. Yeah. But also, like, you help guide them. Yeah. Hey, don't go down that path. Yeah. And you tell me not to go down that path, I'm like, why?
Seems interesting. Yeah.
Let's try it. Like, I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm going down that path. But it's like, here's 3 different paths. here's how you get to the end. You choose your way.
Yeah. And you do have a lot of young guys that reach out to you a lot for advice.
Yeah. And I think that's the fun part about it. And that's the thing I'm going to miss probably more than most things playing.
You can still do that.
But I can still do it. And I've already done some of that here to start the year.
This baseball season's been really weird for a lot of people that you know.
Yeah.
Like from the shoot.
Yeah. And I've had off season. I was talking guys through free agency.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, are you still playing? And I'm like, oh, looks like I'm a counselor.
They should hire you. I think this one's important too, because a lot of guys are like becoming dads during the season for the very first time. And that's really weird. But you're a new dad balancing sports and family life. You did that. You became a dad.
Yeah.
During spring training.
Yes.
For the very first time.
Yeah.
Was that more overwhelming for you or your first wife?
Probably definitely her.
Yeah.
Just like for you.
Yeah.
When Lively was born.
Yeah.
So I think obviously it's way different because as we all know, middle of the night feeding and changing diapers and all that.
How often were you doing that?
You try to first time? Mm-hmm.
I know. Oh, I know about the second time.
Yeah.
All too well.
Yeah. Not as much as I should have. Just like the second time.
Look at the growth.
Yeah. I would say the best thing I could say for guys is try to ask them what they need.
Valid.
And be like, hey, where can I help? How can I help? And then also be like, hey, I gotta play too. But that's not the most important thing.
Everything you
need. Let me help you as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
When I am here.
All right. What about
finding a rhythm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But what do you do when that gets overwhelming for you? Because you have a full day
be honest.
Of work.
I'd say be honest. Don't it's like, hey, I understand you are dealing with all this alone when I'm gone, but like I need help me help myself too. Let's all work together.
That's healthy
if that
response.
Makes sense. I would say that just talking about be like, hey, I know that I'm not supposed to be overwhelmed because I get to leave, but I'm leaving and playing in front of 35,000 people in 4 hours and I need a minute.
Did you just learn this?
No.
Did you put that into action?
I just put that right now.
Oh, good for you. That was healthy.
Yeah. So there you go.
Okay. You're feeling burnt out, but you don't want to let anybody down.
Yeah.
This is an unhealthy response. I already know what you're going to say.
You sign a contract, you have teammates, you have people that depend on you. Fucking man up.
Let's talk a little bit.
In the middle of the season, fucking nobody likes a quitter.
Okay, no one's saying quit though. They're saying rest when you can to make it.
I mean, that's what your mornings and your time away from the field are for you.
Okay.
So use those times wisely.
What about the resources that you're given at the field? Because have...
Yeah, they didn't... We're always there.
Athletes utilize that or no? Is there a stigma around that because that's showing weakness and all that stuff?
Okay, so early on in my career and stuff like that, there was a
open therapist 24/7.
Don't you dare talk to that person.
Okay.
They never played. They don't know.
Yeah.
Type thing. And then as your career goes on, there was a lot more of that. Mm-hmm. There was always somebody traveling with you.
Yeah.
A sports psychologist and all that. So there's a lot more mental, being able to process things, do all those things and have that there was, but growing up, early on in my career, it was
just man up,
bro, you got to go play. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
And then I think there's a lot of guys that I played with guys that just couldn't, and it was too much for them.
Yeah.
And then they didn't make it. And there was guys that figured out how to obviously compartmentalize and go play. But they were dealing with a lot of other things.
Well, I do want to touch on that because I think this is an inside view that not everyone kind of realizes. But throughout your whole career, you have lost 4 very significant people in your life.
Mm-hmm.
and you had 3 days to get over it, and then you had to go back to play.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
It's crazy, right? You get 3 days when someone dies, and you get 3 days when someone's born. Mm-hmm. The two biggest probably things
ever.
You get 3 days to, hey, figure out how to be a parent and be there for your wife who just literally had someone come out of them.
Yep.
And I need you to get up and move it in 3 days because I'm out. Mm-hmm. So that's probably harder on y'all.
Yeah.
But, and then, you know, when people pass away, you get, hey, go take your 3 days and we'll see you when you get back. Be ready to pitch. I mean, one of them, I probably had my best statistical start ever the day of death.
Yeah. Uncle Betty.
Yeah. Went out, punched out.
The 2023 season was the hardest season that
was wild.
We've ever had to endure together.
Yes.
I'm sure there's multiple seasons that you consider hard to get through with your injuries, and you lost your grandmother, and then you lost a very close friend, and then my brother, and then your uncle.
Yeah. Every season has different challenges.
Yeah.
Some are worse than others.
Yeah.
And then
you've been divorced during a season.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of all the, I mean, this is the bad things that have ever happened to you.
Yeah. Yeah. You're crazy.
But in the same breath, like baseball is kind of your outlet for that. So that's a weird one. Like you just said, you had your best, 16 strikeouts?
Yeah.
Could have been 17. Colton Wong.
You bunted. God, Colton, you're such a... I love Colton. We've been teammates on multiple teams. But
I don't even think he knew that was happening.
The moment he bunted and he knew, he looked at me like, oh my God, I never faced him again.
I know.
And he knows I was going to drill him. Absolutely drill him. And if you ask him right now, be like, I'm glad in there because I was going to hit him.
Yep.
In a game. I'm like, there's your base if you want it that bad, you little shit.
Oh my God.
But he's awesome. But when I looked at him on the mound that day, I was like, it
would have been the most strikeouts in a game ever, right? You would have been.
I think I tied the White Sox record.
Yes, but.
And that's the only reason I was out there with like 115 pitches.
Yeah.
Or more. And I was like, I'm doing it. And then he bunted and they took me out. And I was like,
y'all know how you feel about bunting.
God, I hate it. Just swing the bat.
Oh my God.
All right.
All righty. So now I'm going to ask you real questions. I feel like that got real fast, but...
And wasn't that the point?
I don't know if you passed that quiz.
It's 50-50, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, so this is about performance and pressure. How do you handle the pressure of performing at a high level consistently?
Like, I guess we're doing mental, right?
How
do you handle the pressure of it?
Yeah.
I think that
Do you feel a lot of pressure?
You should.
So do you get into a rhythm so much where you're like, this is just another day at the office? Or is there times when you're like, oh my God?
I think, in my opinion, what I learned over my time was the pressure. Yes, there is pressure every day. You feel pressure every day. And what I've learned is that it's the fear of failure, but you turn that into, hey, I know that there's a chance to fail, and that's why you do anything. But for me, it was turning pressure into, I also want to win.
Yeah.
And I turned that into, how can I succeed? And pressure is good. That means you're doing something that you want to be good at and you want to succeed at and you don't want to fail at.
Yeah.
So instead of being scared of failing, it was, hey, I get an opportunity, and pressure is opportunity to be great. Yeah. So go out there and give it everything you got.
So turn it into fuel.
Yes. And it's like because if you don't feel anything, then you, like in my opinion, then you have everybody has pressure to succeed and on the fear of failure.
Yeah.
So to say you don't feel anything is literally I think you're turning everything off. I think you should relish the pressure in a way. I don't know if that makes sense.
Healthy.
I think, yeah. I'm trying to articulate exactly
No, you're
what
doing a really good job. Do you feel like you ever struggle with self-doubt or imposter syndrome?
all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I think that, so this goes back to the pressure thing, right?
Yeah.
So you feel like failure, like the fear of failure. So there's the self-doubt because you're self-doubting your abilities, your work you put in, your preparation. So if you have that fear or that doubt, then you're not ready. So those, like, I was always, hey, you need to get ready to pitch. You're ready for your start, and you have your routine throughout the week to get ready, to watch hitters, to do your prep work, all that, body, all that. Like, it's like you find your routine. So if you did that, that was your way of, hey, I'm ready, right? And what was the question?
Like imposter syndrome. Do you ever feel like you're like looking around at other people and you're like, why am I here? I'm not like them. I don't deserve to be here.
Yeah. I mean, because I think that comes back to your like upbringing, right? A lot of people are like, I was raised here, this and that. And you're like, I shouldn't be here, or I don't belong in this because of my upbringing or my lack of whatever. And then I would go into, hey, but I've earned it.
Yeah.
And I've been pretty damn good. So
Very
you're one of the top, or, you know, like you give yourself things like you're here for a reason.
Yeah.
Like you're one of these people. You have something that is good enough to be here. Now go let it shine, type thing. And then the things that you're not good at, figure out how to make them a little bit better as you go.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was able to do over my careers. I knew what got me here. I figured out how to make that my own. And then I figured out how to take much advice and everything. Some advice was unwanted, but I learned to process it, and stuff. And then I was able to make a long career out of it.
Yeah.
Because I think people early on in my life, college, minor leagues, early on in my career, have been like, man, this guy's not going to make it.
Yeah.
Because I was lazy. I was an asshole. I had a bad attitude. I had all those things. But I still am all those things. But I've been able to grow and push the negative parts of all those out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I was able to grow and become
You're way more mentally healthy than I thought you'd be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't talk about my stuff.
I know
That's my thing.
You like internalize everything.
I'm very,
which I don't
always
know if that's good or
internalizing.
bad,
You always
really.
ask me like, "What are you thinking?" I'm like, "None of your business."
Yeah. All right. Have you ever felt like your mental game has held you back more than your physical game?
There was times, early on in my career, and I think you'll over the course of a season, you're gonna have a stretch of starts or things of that where you just don't feel good. You let your physical or something that's nagging or something like get in there that you needed to push out, and it affects the game. Yeah. And
you never feel physically 100% all the time. So I can see how that would mentally be a little bit draining of like, okay, my knee hurts right now and I have to go out and do this.
Yes. There was times where I let over the court, like you said, there was things that there's things that happen off the field that people don't know about ever. Right.
Yeah.
So there's times in everybody's life and everybody's career where you're not all there that night or that game.
Yeah.
And if you let it snowball, and in baseball, you have to be able to say, hey, here's my day-to-day life. Here's my baseball life, or like get ready for the game and all that. And then until you learn, it takes time. But there's, even the older you get, there's going to be something that pops up that you just can't, and it takes you a day or two. Yeah. And then just like learning and having the people around you to be like, hey, this is what's going on. And you got to have, everybody has a couple guys they trust and people like that. So you got to let it out. But if you just try to figure it out all your own, it literally builds up inside you and feels like it's going to explode though.
Yeah. Well, how do you cope with the setbacks and injuries or your slumps in performance? We've talked about that a little bit, but I don't think you've said specifically how you deal with it, because you just kind of keep on going.
Right. There's two things that I've always done.
Drink heavily?
sometimes you gotta drink one off. You know what I'm saying? That is the truth. It's like, hey, last 2 starts been really shitty. I'm grabbing a bottle of bourbon.
Yeah.
Right. Let's get this out of there. Let's get this evil out of me.
We don't recommend that, by the way.
We don't. Yes, that's not great for you. But while doing that, you go look at your 2 bad starts. You go look at your processes going up to them. What's different between your good starts, and go watch those. Think about the process.
So you just overanalyze it.
I wouldn't say I overanalyze it. It's
just analyze it.
I say, hey, here's why I sucked. Here's why, and here's when I was good. Figure out how not to suck and be good again.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And then and then that's when you watch your bad ones first. And then you always end on your good ones, because that's what's going to be in your mind going forward.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And then there's times when you watch your good ones and you're like, well, but during my bad one, that didn't work.
Yeah.
But it worked during my good ones. Why did it work during my good ones? Because mentally you had conviction. You weren't scared of failing. But in your bad ones, you were scared of failing, and you're in between pitches. You're indecisive a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you go look and you're like, man, what a bitch. You literally told yourself before you threw that pitch
that it wasn't
that I didn't like this one or that. And then you already have, what is the word I'm looking for? In your bad ones, you already have excuses.
Okay.
Like, and it's like, no, there's no fucking excuse. That was a horseshit pitch, and you gave up 6 runs. Go fucking be better next time.
Oh my God.
Like, there's no excuses. And the excuse is, oh, I didn't want to throw that pitch, or, oh, I've heard guys say, oh, the catcher called that. It's like, no, motherfucker, you threw it. Right?
Yeah.
You don't want to fucking step off and throw what you want.
Yeah.
So those are the things where it's like, no, it's not anyone's fault. It's not the umpire's fault, which there's some really fucking bad ones. So it was their fault at times, or that's a different story. But you go back and be like, hey, that umpire missed that call. And then the next pitch you gave up a homer because you're pissed. Fucking lock it in for the next pitch, because the last one doesn't matter. Like those are things you learn.
Yeah. Okay.
So there you go.
Have you ever experienced burnout?
Burnout?
Yeah.
Yeah. Every year.
At what point?
I think every season has a different point.
Yeah.
Where you're like,
like a losing streak. Losing streak.
Yeah. And I do.
When you personally
losing
hurt.
streak, or like the team's shitty, the locker room shitty. You have like some bad fucking travel, like with a lot of night games on travel.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's times, and you need, like, the All-Star break is always very welcome.
Too long of a road trip.
It's always very welcome, the All-Star break.
It's not long enough.
You're right. Yeah. And I think that, you have it. I think you have it. I would say that every guy goes through 2 different phases of called burnout.
How do you get over it?
You have to, like, I think that for me, the way I got through it is, if I'm facing this hitter, it's you versus me. I go into the competitive mode.
Okay.
Because it's like, that guy doesn't give a shit if I'm burnout right now. He's trying to beat me. Right. And it's like, okay. So it's like, I know that, hey, you're tired, you're hurting a little bit, this or that.
You got the mentality of a killer.
That guy doesn't fucking care.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to let him know that I'm tired, or know that I don't have it today. Yeah. But I'm going to figure out how to win. And there's nothing better than winning and beating somebody when you are hurt, feel like shit, this and that. Those are the times where you can figure out, and that's another building block too.
It's interesting that you go full aggressive when you're faced with any sort of burnout or
there's no quit. You can't quit.
Imposter syndrome or anything like that. It's not like, I'm just going to take a hot bath in a glass of bourbon and I'm going to try and self-care my way out of this. You're like, no, I'm going to kill somebody. And that's the solution.
I don't know about kill someone, but
you're like, this guy doesn't care about me, so I don't care about him.
Well, there's in baseball and in sports in general, you're playing against someone else that's trying to beat you.
Yeah.
Or there's a guy behind you trying to take your job. So if you want to fucking burn out, go ahead and go home because the next guy's going to take your job or someone's going to beat you. Like that's the truth of it. And if you are burnt out and you're done, then fucking retire. And I am.
So done with you. Oh my gosh. Do you feel
there's 30,000 people that are going to absolutely destroy you when you say, "Oh, I had a bad
it's like a natural human
game
thing
today
to be,
because I'm tired from this season." They'd be like, "Pussy."
See, this is a horrible episode. I don't know why I chose to do this.
You would get destroyed in the media.
That's why we're talking about this. Do you feel like male athletes face stigma when it comes to talking about their mental health?
100%. There's the masculinity.
I feel like you could be all
masculinity.
things. You could be like, hey guys, I'm having a bad day, but I'm really trying to get through it, power through.
Right.
Just being emotionally
I think some guys
aware.
should try that, but I'm not or would never.
This is not going well,
I understand everybody has their way, but I'm also one that's like, hey, I'm like the media and things like that. They don't need to know what I'm feeling because then the other team knows that I'm struggling right now. And you're telling me the other team, the guy before is like, oh man, he says he's tired or this or that. And then you tell me they're not going to be chirping out of the dugout at you. They're going to be chirping real quick.
That's not healthy.
That's called sports and having an edge and
Okay.
having the ability to
Do you feel
beat
like
somebody.
your like coaches and everything are good support
Yes, 100%.
for you during
Like,
times like
there's-
they can probably read when you're off or something like that
100, yeah.
and support you during that?
Yeah, and then if you have coaches that you are really close with, which you've met a lot of the ones like pitching coach and stuff, you can create relationships, and you can and you have those talks throughout the season, and that's
like check-ins.
and like that's I mean some of the best coaches I've had in my career are not analytically driven or mechanically driven like pitching and this and that. They are literally like you just like you're able to just talk to about anything.
Yeah.
And like when you have that, then everybody knows where, and that's sports. Everybody knows, like coaches are like an extension of the clubhouse. When they know each other and they know the players, they can help players get through the days that they're worn out, the days that they like, and they can give them an extra kick. Like I had a pitching coach that's like, hey, there's times when he knew that he needed to tell me to man up. And there was times when he knew that like I needed to just have a drink and talk.
Yeah.
So like that's the beauty of coaching though. You have to know those things.
Yeah.
And you have to know each
people.
and you have to know each kid's or each player's I guess vocabulary, their terminology, the way they think, so you can actually get through to them. Because if you just talk to them or you're like talking at them instead of like being able to use their words and like actually understand what they're talking about.
Yeah. What would you tell like younger players that are like experiencing burnout? Because I don't think you would call younger players a pussy and to man up.
No. And I don't think, I mean,
I don't think you'd say that to anybody.
I wouldn't say it to
actually.
anybody, but that's how like you asked me how I mentally do it for myself.
Yes.
The things that's how I did it to myself. Nobody cares. You're a major leaguer. No one cares you're tired.
It's not necessarily
right.
true.
But they do. There are people that do, but the other team doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, so.
It's important to note that the other team is probably dealing with very similar things.
They are. And
Every
it's like,
league
hey,
is dealing
this
with
guy in the box is probably dealing with something. I'm dealing with something. I'm going to beat him. We're going to see who can get through it mentally better today. Like, that's the thing. It's like, sports are a challenge and you have to competition. Not everyone's going to be at their best, but you have to be better than them.
Yeah. I hear you.
So if I tell a young kid, I would say find a couple veterans or a couple people you trust, because everybody's going through something.
Yeah.
And everyone be okay with like finding a guy. Everybody needs a couple guys in the team that they can, like that are their boys.
Yeah.
Like no matter, there's nothing off the table to talk about because you're able to have, and you're able to get it out and you have people to help you.
Yeah.
If that makes, and multiple people too, because if you only have one person or something like that, I think that you need multiple voices to be able to navigate, because one voice you might not see other ways to do things. There's always multiple ways to do things. So find multiple people to give you multiple things of advice so you can find your way.
Yeah. Do you feel like sports affects your friendships, relationships, partnerships?
Yeah. I mean, well, you're just talking about like teammates and friends over the years.
Yeah.
Like next year you might be like, playing against them. Like,
Yeah.
like you every season you have.
But like you're real, and I'm not saying they're not real, but
Right.
I
like
mean, there are people that kind of, and you love for a whole entire season, and they go to another team and you just like never talk to
and
that
you text
person
them here
again.
and there and that's it. Yeah.
But I mean, like in your real life.
I'd say yes, solely because of how much time commitment you have.
Yeah.
And like you miss things. Like if a buddy was getting married in the middle of summer, I'm not going. So it's like, yes, it affects things, and people don't understand that.
Things.
Huh?
I've gone solo to many things.
And people don't understand. Like you said, you get 3 days for death, 3 days for birth. That's it. You don't get any other time off. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it affects those things because people don't understand it. They're like, oh, you think you can make it to this? Like, no, it's June, whatever.
People still shoot their shot though.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, and then they're like, oh, he doesn't, we're not. And it's like, no, it's like.
Remember when someone invited you to a 4th of July barbecue and I'm like, hey, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but like when you're off work is really when Lance's job is probably the most important.
Yeah. The July 4th's a big day.
I mean, there's
baseball.
fireworks at the field, man. Like he's got to be there this time. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, definitely can't miss that one.
He's like, yeah, come on by. Like if Lance wants to come too. I'm like,
yeah.
You don't really get the day off.
And then she's like, well, Lance can't come. He's like, well, you're not invited.
That was the end of my questions, I guess.
That was done.
Did you feel like that was an enlightening conversation?
I think that it was a very enlightening conversation for the world. Yeah. I already know all this stuff. It's in my brain every day.
I know. But, you and I talked about this last night. Like, you are, as you're getting older, don't smirk at me, getting into a very healthy mindset about a lot of things, whereas before you were very
narrow-minded.
No.
Or like very.
I would have never known, but now you're definitely more comfortable with having other feelings besides anger and competition and all of that stuff. And so you're very.
Yeah. And I think you and the kids have helped with that in the sense of, I mean, when you're during the season and there's a different locked inness, I guess, like a different way of locking in and all that. And over the course of my career, there's, I'd start the process of getting locked in when I was driving to the field.
Yeah.
But when I was home in the morning, it was, even if I was starting that day, it was get up and help with breakfast.
Yeah.
Like try to play with the kids.
We keep you in the present. That's for sure. Which
is, I think and then a lot of guys struggle with that. They're like, oh, I got a game today. I can't be a normal human.
Yeah.
I was like, it's good for you. And I think it's good for your body to like get out and get up and move in the morning and stuff like that. And like go to the park with your kids and have those moments that you can too, because it takes, I think that's going to help you not get, for me, towards the end of my career or like whatever, that helped me not get the burnout as much.
Yeah. That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's like, I am separating the two. You have to separate the two or you will get the burnout.
Yeah. And
then there's guys that are like, oh, I'm all baseball all the time. And they miss out. I think they miss out on some things, whether it's teammates, family, like get like stuff like that. It's like you got to have a little bit of both.
Can I ask you a deep question?
I've dug deep enough today.
You have. You've done a really good job. I'm proud of you. Do you feel like you know who you are without baseball?
I feel like I know, or I got an idea of who I am
that
without baseball.
And when
yes, I don't think you're ever gonna. I mean, I know who I am and want to be as a husband and father, and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
About now, when it comes to like other things, like no, I don't. If I do, I want to. Do I want to do other things, and do I want to work? Do I want to do this and that? At the moment, no, I do not know any of those things. I've got so many ideas.
He wants to own a gas station so bad.
I don't know about, yeah, I do. I don't know why
with
either.
Chicken.
It sounds stupid, but yeah.
Gas stations are very important.
Yeah, you need some, liquor store right off the side. But
Yeah,
it's like,
be in
there's
there
no reason to do any of that either.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like, because you all, like, I think in our thought is when you're done playing or whatever, it's like, okay, what's next? I'm going to have to work, right? Or like, because you are taught your whole life, you have to have a job, you have to make money, you have to support, like that's how men were taught, or I was taught growing up, kind of. It's like you have to work. That's what you're supposed to do till you're 62.
Yeah.
Right. That was like what I was told growing up. But you can't retire till you're 62.
Yeah.
Well, I'm about to be 38 and I'm retired. So
that's a flex.
Right.
Yeah.
It is. And I could not do anything ever again.
You're going to do something.
Yeah, most likely. But
You don't sit down. You're one of those people.
It's weird.
You have to do something.
I like sitting down.
I love sitting down.
And like during the season and stuff like that. But like now that I know that I'm not doing anything, I got ideas. I've got things. I got a couple of trees I want cut down.
Exactly. He'll just go outside and cut a tree. I'm like, what?
It was falling over anyways, and it needed to be removed.
Okay. Yes.
And we needed some firewood.
Yes.
Like I'm looking forward to doing that.
Yeah. And I will say,
I already have a whole thing that I got going on back here for deer season. I got to get ready for. And
that's what I've kind of observed. Okay.
I've had ideas my whole life and plans and all that.
Yes.
And now I actually get to do them because I'm not busy playing baseball and taking up all my damn time.
He's been in this state of limbo for like months now because mentally he wanted to play. Physically, he really didn't. You know what I mean?
I think, yeah.
But I've seen new things transpire and like new passions develop in you that I've not seen this whole time that I've known you playing baseball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's interesting because it's like learning a brand new you.
Yeah, stuff that you weren't able to do, I now get to do it, and those things are exciting.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to them. But they're also nerve-wracking because like you've never done them, really. You've done a little bit of them.
Like you've always adulted, but you're not like a real adult.
Yeah, you're busy from February to...
Since you were like 12 years old,
October,
you've not had a
that was
summer
what I did every summer. I've never had a 4th of July off.
Yeah.
For 16 years now.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
I'm going to buy the biggest fucking fireworks ever, and I'm going to fire those motherfuckers in the sky this year.
Oh my gosh. No, I think life's about to get really fun. And I know a lot of people are going to be really sad that you're retired because you're a lot of people's favorite player and they enjoy watching you.
Yeah. I mean, that's
and you brought something very fun to the game. You were very competitive. A bulldog.
Cursed a little bit.
An ace. You were just old school and all of these things.
Yeah. When you're young, you had a bad attitude. You get a little older and have success. Man, he's a bulldog.
Yeah.
He's a warrior.
Yeah.
No, he's still got a bad attitude. He's just good now.
Yeah. But I feel like we're going to see a whole new side of you. So it's sad that an era has ended, but it's also exciting that we have a new one upcoming, and that's
Bingo.
We're going to be able to travel. I mean, we've already taken lots of trips.
Yeah, I think that right there was kind of the tell that I was done, huh?
Yeah, he keeps planning trips, and I'm like,
yeah, so you're playing.
Not trying to get a job. We're not trying to get a job if we're going to be gone.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, first spring break in 20 years.
Yeah.
That was great.
You've done a lot of things.
Yeah.
And you seem happy. In a very strange way, it looks like a weight has been lifted off of you.
Yes.
You have a little light in your eyes. And I'm not saying you didn't love baseball and all that stuff, but it's just like a newfound freedom. You're like a puppy that's seen grass for the first time.
Yeah, I get to see summer.
Yes.
Yeah, and like you said, Bo, it's like there was times in not only like to admit or like say that you're retiring.
Yeah.
You feel like you're letting people down. Like I had to talk to you.
There's like a chain of people that I
needed to talk to. I needed to let them know like how I'm feeling. And every person was like, dude, I'm so proud of you. You're good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, I needed that. And I'm like, but I also like you said, like I was like, I could still do it.
Yeah.
So that I was fighting with that.
Yeah.
Because like the 12-year-old inside of me that wanted to be a major leaguer, it's like, well, but I don't want to, the way that it ended last year in St. Louis, my last start, getting a win, whole family there, not going to happen again.
Yeah.
if I play this year.
Yeah.
And then if I do get hurt, I don't want to, like, I injured the year on the injured list, but like I pitched and did what I like. That was kind of planned because we just got eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah.
Love the young kids pitch, and my knee was inflamed, so I needed to,
Yeah.
But being said, like, I don't want it something to snap and that's it.
Yeah.
Either, because you never know. So I'm okay with it. I walked off instead of. I'm the type, if I keep going, I'm probably gonna be carried off.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I knew that too. So it's like, don't get carried off. Don't end with a surgery that you have to rehab on your own. Just go enjoy.
I didn't even think of that.
Go enjoy it.
Rehab on your own. That's so sad. They just leave you high and dry.
Hey, thanks.
Off to pasture.
See ya.
Oh my gosh.
If you're a horse, we'd shoot you.
Yeah.
That's that's what they do.
Oh my
They
God.
just don't.
Well, do you have any
nobody
final
does it.
words for all of the people who've been watching you for the past 15 years?
So Jay Lear, who's been my pitching guy since I was 12 years old, and we'll love him and we'll help him forever. We always joked, like, if I ever had a Hall of Fame speech, it would start and end with "You're welcome."
Knew that.
Right. But no, in all seriousness, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed competing and all that, and I hope you did too. And if you enjoyed watching me play and cheered for me, thank you. And if you cheered against me, you are welcome, because you always need someone to root against and you always need someone to root for. And there's no other way to say it, right? It's like, it was fun. You enjoyed the people that didn't want you to succeed. You enjoyed the people that wanted you to succeed and that rooted for you. I mean, you wanted to, I don't know. I always enjoyed making sure that the fans that were booing me knew when I did well, and it was fun for me. But when I pitched like shit and you booed me, I deserved it. It was fun, And if I sucked that day and you booed me, you're welcome. Because you had something to cheer about.
Oh my gosh.
Either way, good or bad, fans, other fans, our fans, you had something to cheer about.
All right.
Hope it was fun.
Beautifully said.
They don't make them like this.
They don't make them like this anymore. Oh my gosh, he's going to crash out after this. I just know for a fact. It's fine though.
No, we just talked about how good my mental health is.
Honestly, it's better than I thought it was. I think this episode's done. I hope you learned something. I really don't know if we're supposed to be mental health advocates, so hopefully you took something away from this episode.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you got to.
Everybody goes through something that can help somebody. That's the way I see it. Maybe they might not be specialists in the department, but you might be able to help someone some way.
Yeah. And for you, I'm glad that you got to say in your own words everything that you're feeling around retirement, because I don't know, if it were any other place, you might not get an open mic to say exactly how you felt about everything.
True. And I'm sure once this comes out, I'll have to answer some more questions, but all in all, everybody knows why it's time.
Yep.
Sometimes when you know it's time, it's time. I think I was fighting with knowing, because I knew.
You knew, and then you were trying to make it. Yeah. No, I understand that.
That's because I physically feel pretty good too.
Yeah.
But if I go play, I'm gonna feel like shit.
You're gonna, No, I get it. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna feel like shit too if I had to do it.
Golly.
It was a good run.
Yeah.
It was a great run. It was a great career. You're in record books.
Start farming and playing golf and fishing.
Got a lot of memes. Got a lot of nut grab videos.
Yeah. A lot of shit talking.
Broken iPad in the dugout. That's a good video.
It cost me $1,000.
Yep. There's a whole compilation videos. Of
iPads are not even $1,000.
Are they not?
No, you can get one for $600 and they charged me $1,000 MLB.
Well, it's the way
Highway
that you
robbery.
broke it. Anyways, all right, that's it for
you
us.
didn't find $1,000 for breaking an iPad on TV.
Oh, God.
I go, if I would have broke it behind and no one saw it, I wouldn't have been charged a fucking $1. That's a joke.
All right, well, now we know for next time. This is not the way I planned this episode, even a little bit. Like and subscribe and go to YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff.
Click that shit.
Click that shit. And we'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks for watching.
Peace.